damping और नहीं, damping and azimuth भी कर लिया था. That is by constricting the tube, connecting tube between the reservoirs. We are doing the damping and azimuth. Basically, if we are stopping it, liquid is flowing from one side to the other. If I'm stopping the or constricting the tube, basically I am stopping. A force is applied in the same direction. That is, vertical force only is applied. That results in precession. Basically, working with precession, but producing an effect of damping. So that was damping, and we had a working gyro compass. But for many of the equipment, we have said that what an equipment does for us is very nice. We also must be very, very sure and very, very, not very, very, we should be understanding where are the errors or what kind of errors the equipment may throw at us, so that we are ready in advance. Gyro compass also has certain kind of errors which surfaces at different times. One is the settling position of the gyro compass. Can you just make a small guess? What is the settling position? Settling position.
North.
Where is it settling?
North.
Settling to north. But all the time it does not happen. It does not happen that every time it is at north. It is settled, but not always. Sometimes it is settled here, little to the east. Sometimes it is settled here, little to the west. कभी यहाँ पे, कभी यहाँ पे, कभी यहाँ पे, कभी यहाँ पे. अलग-अलग टाइम में अलग-अलग सेटलिंग होती है. That can happen for certain different reasons, different conditions, different settling position of the compass. So in different conditions, it is not necessarily pointing at north. Those are the sources of errors. So the errors can broadly be categorized as two types of errors. One is called static error or fixed error. You can also keep on noting down slide. Errors of the gyro compass are broadly categorized as static or fixed type of errors. The other category is dynamic or variable type of error. Variable. The name must give you some indication as to what is static. Static error means it is always fixed, does not change. That means 2 degree इसमें तो हमेशा 2 degree इसमें रहता है, ज़्यादा ही बताए. Every time it will show you 2 degrees more itself. I mean east itself. So if you are going, actually the ship is going north, the gyro is telling you more. और actually east में है तो less बताएगा. It will say 359. Any idea if it is gyro is shifted 2 degrees to east, what is the reading that we are going to have? If the ship is going true north, true course is 000, and there is an error. That means the spin axis has shifted 2 degrees to east. Then what is the reading on the compass?
358.
358. This concept we have discussed or not?
No, sir.
अभी नहीं बात. तो हम उसके बारे में बात करेंगे. How the शिवम राजकमल, आपका माइक्रोफोन ऑन है, आप कर लो. थैंक यू. Unless you want to speak something, कुछ कहना है शिवम?
नहीं सर, सॉरी.
ना कोई बात. Okay. So static errors are those which is always fixed. Idea is that the spin axis is not pointing to north, but either it is to the east or to the west. So there can be certain reasons for this. Let us go to the slide. उसी से बात करते हैं. जब जरूरत पड़ेगी तो वापस आके बोर्ड पे बात करेंगे. But let us go to the slides. Give me a minute. Okay, so here are the two types of categories of errors: static or fixed. Other one is variable or dynamic. Now static, as we said, is going to remain fixed no matter what. No matter which heading the ship is going, no matter where she is, whether on equator or on higher latitudes, either on south or north, it will always be same by the name and by the magnitude. 2 degree east मतलब हमेशा 2 degree east में रहेगा. On the other hand, variable or dynamic errors are caused by the movement of the ship over the surface of the earth and its location. ध्यान से सुनिएगा. जहाज कहाँ है अर्थ पे और किधर को जा रही है, कितने स्पीड से जा रही है, इससे एक एरर प्रोड्यूस होता है। Where the ship is and her movement over the surface of the earth leads to an error in the gyro compass. Are you able to create the scenario when we are speaking about this sentence? It depends on the location of the ship. Can somebody elaborate what do we mean by the location of the ship? If I'm saying one line, it must strike an understanding.
सर वो एटीट्यूड पे डिपेंड करेगा ना, इक्वेटर पे या हायर एटीट्यूड से, उसी हिसाब से चलेगा।
Exactly. एकदम सही बात कर रहे हैं। Location means depending on the latitude of the ship, whether she's on equator or intermediate latitude. Other one is or her movement over the surface of the earth. What would it mean? Movement means either direction, I mean not direction and the speed, because movement, so to say, velocity is a vector quantity, must have a magnitude and also should have a direction. So will that be movement of the ship doing a course of 060 degree at 30 knots or 15 knots or 20 knots, whatever? That will be movement, correct?
Yes, sir.
So these are the reasons of variable error. जहाज अभी यहाँ पे चल रही है 10 डिग्री नॉर्थ पे, कभी 50 डिग्री नॉर्थ पे चलती है, कभी 060 चल रही होती है at 10 knots, कभी 350 चल रही होती है 15 knot. So all that is going to be causing the error. So coming back to static error, first one is alignment error. Alignment error is all about installation of the gyro compass and marking of the lubber line. I hope you are all clear about lubber line. Anyone who has a problem with lubber line, can you please tell me?
सर बता दो सर एक बार प्लीज।
Okay, ठीक है। So to understand lubber line, suppose जहाज ऐसा है, इसमें एक कार्ड है, कार्ड में 0 होगा, 90 होगा, 180 डिग्री लिखा होगा, 270 लिखा होगा। The lubber line is placed in line with the forward aft line of the ship. जो छोटा रेड लाइन है कार्ड के सामने, जो राउंड वन इज द कंपास कार्ड. It is a mark which is fixed with the ship, not with the compass. So right now the red line, small line, what it is reading? What is it reading here?
0 0 0
0. Very good. Now suppose the ship is going like this. The lubber line is shifting with the ship because it is fixed with the ship. Now what kind of reading it will have?
045
045, 050 or whatever. See that the card, compass card has remained fixed like this. Why? Because there is a rotor and there is a spin axis which is pointing to north. But it is the lubber line which is shifting around it along with the heading of the ship, that it is reading different kind of readings. You're getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So spin axis is always pointing to north. Along with that, the card is also fixed. But अब कार्ड के आप इस तरफ खड़े होकर देखते हो, उस तरफ खड़े होकर देखते हो, the ship as she is changing orientations, the compass is like this, the rotor beneath the compass, जो ऊपर से हमें कार्ड के नीचे होता है वो इसलिए ऊपर से दिखता नहीं, it is always pointing to north. But when the ship is going on this heading, lubber line will be forward aft line के साथ. So it is going to read this reading in the compass. ठीक है? अब मान लो कि जहाज ऐसे ही चल रही है और आपने लवर लाइन यहाँ पे बना रखा है, तो रीडिंग वो सही होगी?
नो सर, बट वो तो फिक्स ही रहेगा ना, वो भी फिक्स टाइप का एरर होना चाहिए। जितना जहाँ पे मेरी लाइन होगी वहीं उतना मेरा हेडिंग में डिफरेंस होगा, चाहे मैं किधर भी चला जाऊँ।
That is what we are talking about. We are talking about alignment error. One of the alignment error is difference between the forward aft line of the ship and the lubber line. The lubber line is not parallel to the forward aft line of the ship. So in this case, looks like the lubber line is shifted to the port of the forward aft line. Now this differentiation will always remain no matter where the ship is going. If she is going, let us say, in this direction, तो फॉरवर्ड आउट लाइन तो हमारा यूं था. अभी इसमें जो लवर लाइन है वो अभी भी इसी तरफ को होएगा जैसा यहाँ पे था. डिफरेंस वही डिफरेंस यहाँ पे होगी. So this is an alignment error, mismatch between or lubber line not being parallel to the forward aft line of the ship. As far as practicable, the gyro compass should be on the forward aft line. It should be installed on the forward aft line. But if not, the lubber line should be parallel to the FA line of the ship. Why? Because if we have the ship like this and the compass is here, forward aft line is here, no problem. The lubber line can be here like this, but parallel to the forward aft line. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Okay. So static error is caused by an error existing between indicated heading and the vessel's lubber line. Now, are you able to make sense of it? What is the first line saying? No. Yes? क्या हुआ?
Yes, sir.
So there are three things actually: the heading indicator, the lubber line, and the forward aft line. It is also important to have the heading indicator installed properly. जो round है, that is the heading indicator. There is lubber line and there is forward aft line of the ship. All the three should match. Looks like the lubber line is matching, but your heading indicator, is it matching with the lubber line? The window through which you are looking at the reading, is it matching?
Yes, sir.
Yes sir or no sir? Misalignment है या नहीं?
रबर लाइन सेंटर लाइन पे तो है.
हाँ, लेकिन जहाँ पे विंडो जो सर्किल है वो क्या है?
नॉट अलाइन. वो तो अलाइन नहीं है सर.
तो गड़बड़ होगी ना. मैं तो इस विंडो में देखूंगा तो थोड़ा मिसअलाइनमेंट उसमें भी हो सकती है. So what we are saying there is, this is an error caused by misalignment between the indicated heading and the lubber line. Next one is error existing between indicated lubber line and the forward aft line of the ship. दोनों ही केस में there will be an error. Both are related to installation, as we said in the beginning itself. Both are related to installation of the ship, sorry, the compass, and hence can be made to zero by critical alignment. बढ़िया से अगर install करेंगे तो ये problem नहीं आएगी. So we can remove static errors. It is within our hands. बढ़िया technician होएगा तो alignment error zero होगी. Next type of static error is called transmission error. You must understand the scenario of installation of gyro compass और कैसे काम करता है. आपके जहाज में एक स्टीयरिंग कॉलम होती है. स्टीयरिंग व्हील है और यहाँ पे gyro compass होता है. करेक्ट? बहुत सारे दूसरे कंट्रोल्स होते हैं. So are you steering with the gyro compass when the vessel is being steered using the
Yes, sir.
wheel? This is the gyro compass, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You must understand that actually this is not the gyro compass. This is called
Gyro
repeater.
repeater.
Yes. This is called repeater. Gyro compass यहाँ पे भीतर में होता है और इसका signal is given to the repeater so that if the gyro is reading 10.9, then the same reading goes to the repeater and it should say 100.9. But how will it happen? Mechanical तो होता नहीं. Mechanical transmission तो नहीं है कि यहाँ पे जो axis घूमे तो वहां भी axis घूमेगा. It is done electronically. Gyro compass से electronic signal निकलते हैं जो repeater में जाते हैं और repeater उनको follow करता है depending on the input coming. So we have this repeater in the steering column itself. There may be on the starboard port sides also. So there are multiple repeaters. If the data is not being transmitted and received by the repeater, transmitted by the gyro and received and followed by the repeater, then we have a transmission error. As we said in the example that we are seeing, gyro is saying 100.9 degrees, but the repeater is saying, let us say, for example, 99.9 degrees. So there is 1 degree difference. This is happening because there is transmission error. Since it is an electronic problem that the data is not being transferred properly, the repeater is not following the compass properly. So obviously, the solution is also electronic. What is that electronic solution? Something called multi-pulse transmission. More number of pulses transmitted at a faster rate so that the repeater is able to follow it more effectively. Something like कि जहाज घूम गई और अगर बहुत स्लो पल्स ट्रांसमिशन हो रहा था तो घूमने के बाद वो बताएगा कि मैं वहां घूम रहा हूं. बेसिकली इतना ही समझो, ज्यादा कंफ्यूज ना हो. मल्टी स्पीड ट्रांसमिशन से transmission error is tried to be kept minimum. It is reduced to almost zero. That means the moment gyro is changing, immediately the repeater follows. There is no lead or lag. आगे पीछे रह जाता है, वैसा नहीं होता. Next one is dynamic or variable errors. The reasons for that is on your screen. See that you're understanding both the reasons, what it is saying, why the variable errors take place. Is it clear? The reason we discussed earlier. Anji, कोई कुछ बोल नहीं रहा.
Sir, movement of ship across the surface of Earth, ये क्या मतलब है?
अभी बताया था ना. Movement is basically a vector quantity, must have a direction,
Yes,
must have a value.
Yes, sir.
तो movement on the surface of the earth, जहाज खड़ी रहती है अपने कंस्ट्रक्शन के बाद, यहाँ वहाँ घूमती रहती है.
Movement तो होगी sir, displacement.
तो बस वही movement, मतलब कि किधर को जा रही है, कितने स्पीड से जा रही है. Something called steaming error. It results in something called steaming error. When the ship is steaming, going this way or that way, steaming मतलब क्या, कि कहाँ किस डायरेक्शन में जा रही है, कितने स्पीड पे जा रही है, और एट द सेम टाइम अभी कहाँ पे है, इक्वेटर पे स्टीम कर रही है या किस लैटिट्यूड पे कर रही है. So that will result in something called steaming error.
Yes sir.
But movement वेरिएबल चीज है. कभी जहाज पोर्ट में खड़ी है, कभी एंकर पे, कभी ड्रिफ्ट कर रही है, कभी इंजन से फुल स्पीड 17 नॉट पे चल रही है. सो शिप कंडीशन के साथ ये एरर भी चेंज होता रहता है. Other one is also the jerky movements of the ship in bad weather that may also include or induce error in the gyro compass. Because remember, gyro is all about that tilting and drifting and control precession and damping precession. तो अगर टेबल पे बना के रख देते तो ये सब बहुत अच्छा काम करता. बट जहाज में बहुत सारे मूवमेंट्स होती हैं, और although we try to make the gyro compass totally free, लेकिन पॉइंट ऑफ कांटेक्ट तो होता ही है जहां गिम्बल्स जुड़ते हैं. तो whatever infinitesimal friction is there, that does lead to a little bit of problem. So that is causing variable errors. So we'll talk about the variable error in the next class. When we meet again, we'll talk about something called latitude error, something called steaming error, something called rolling error, जिसके बारे में थोड़ा सा बात किया है हमने. We will also talk about ballistic deflection error.